I want to fold close with you. I want to make you feel good. Baby, I want to do the right thing.
Really? Out of all the places in my house, you pick my dryer. What am I gonna do? Moving forward, I bet you want to know why I have this fluffy rug. Well, it is the fall of the opposition. Yeah, I just made a Fluffal pun. The rise of the Duelist set has introduced some new cards that make Fluffal a dominant deck. I feel with the new cards, Fluffals can put some damage on the meta, and there is this insane 3-card combo that can make your opponent beg for mercy. Well, as you already know, talk is cheap. Let's just jump on in. So the point of emphasis on this particular Fluffal profile is its potency. We want to be able to consistently get into our Fluffal combo, but we also want to be able to summon those huge Fluffal boards that allow us to go for the OTK. Starting off with the main deck, the monsters consist of 3 copies of Fluffal Dog. Any sane Fluffal deck that wants to search monsters will play Fluffal Dog, as it does allow you to add any Fluffal monster or Edge Imp Sabers from your deck to your hand. Keep in mind, it can only add Edge Imp Sabers, so you can't add Scythe and you can't add Edge Imp Chain. The next card we do play is 3 copies of Fluffal Penguin. Both of these cards are the best normal summons in the deck. Fluffal Penguin grants you an additional Fluffal summon, while also if it's fused and sent to the graveyard, you get to draw 2 cards and discard 1. Amazing for actually getting some of those Edge Imp or Fluffal cards we need out of our hand and into the graveyard. That's going to be it for our best normal summons. Moving on to our draw engine, 3 copies of Fluffal Bear and 3 copies of Fluffal Wings. This is tremendous. Fluffal Bear actually does have an on-field effect to tribute itself to add polymerization from the graveyard to your hand. So if you ever find yourself needing a polymerization and have one in the graveyard, Bear does that. But its primary function is to search that toy vendor, while Fluffal Wings acts as a +3. Banishing this card from your graveyard gets you 1 card, but then you can send Toy Vendor to the graveyard to draw another card. You trigger the effect of Toy Vendor and wow, you just +3. You can add 1 Fluffal or 1 Edge Imp Sabers from your deck to your hand. That's too strong with the deck. Next, the new card from the Rise of the Duelist set is going to be Fluffal Penguin. This card fishes any toy vendor from your graveyard back to your side of the field, and then can send a Fluffal monster from your deck to the graveyard. Cough, cough. Fluffal Wings is a Fluffal monster, and since Toy Vendor is not a hard once per turn, you can use the effect of Fluffal Wings if you haven't that turn to draw 2 cards and send Toy Vendor to the graveyard, which is a search. I wanted to play 3 copies of Fluffal Dolphin because it is a water monster and it has amazing effects, but yeah, restrictions to deck building. Next is going to be 2 copies of Fluffal Sheep. Fluffal Sheep is a godsend extender. All you have to do is control a Fluffal monster and you can special summon this card to your side of the field. It also can special summon an Edge Imp monster from the graveyard or your hand to the side of the field, so that actually does come up. Now I am a little indecisive between playing Fluffal Sheep or Fluffal Cat, but I don't know, they both just seem like really, really good cards. Lastly, we do play 1 copy of Fluffal Owl. Seriously, this card just gets us polymerization and also can serve as another means of fusion. Regardless, it's still a really good card. I just wish it were a level 4 water monster, you know? That's going to be it for the Fluffal monsters at 17. For the Edge Imp monsters, just 1 copy of Edge Imp Sabers. You don't need more than 1 in this deck. It can recycle itself to the side of the field. 3 copies of Edge Imp Scythe. This would probably be the next card I would drop down to 2. I think that it's really good as a hand trap because it allows you to fusion summon for Fright for Well on your opponent's turn. But yeah, it's like it doesn't really add to the going first combos because we're gonna find ourselves going first. We typically don't want to go second in this type of format. It's a really good card though, and it's just insane in this deck because it is that hand trap and that free form of disruption. Next, not 1, not 2, but 3 copies of Edge Imp Chain. This card is amazing, allows you to add a Fright for card from your deck to your hand. Keep in mind, Fright for Patchwork is a Fright for card that you can add, which allows you to add, of course, another Edge Imp and a polymerization. That's it for our Edge Hit monsters at 7. Moving on to the spells, 3 copies of Patchwork. It's essentially a +1 in the deck. 3 copies of Toy Vendor, the best card in the deck. I actually tried to center this deck around resolving Toy Vendor's first effect. 17 Fluffal monsters in the main board is a pretty big number, meaning that a lot of times you'll be able to special summon that additional monster, which actually does come up in combos. That's it for the Fluffal / Frightfur cards. 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. This card is a godsend for the deck. 3 copies of Polymerization because we obviously like to fuse, and 1 card that I strongly suggest to play is 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet. Now obviously we don't have Forbidden Droplet just yet, so I don't expect everyone to have it, especially players that are on a budget. If you are on a budget, I strongly suggest Forbidden Chalice. Heck, Called by the Grave works really well if you're not trying to get hand trapped, and if you just so happen to have it, Infinite Impermanence is still a great card. Lastly, we do play not 1 but 2 copies of Frightfur Repair. I don't understand why players play 1. Yes, it is a hard once per turn, but when you start to get into the grind game, this card comes up. And trust me, there is a turn past turn 2 in Yu-Gi-Oh! No matter how fast this deck wants to be. The last card is Frightfur Fusion in the main deck, bringing us at about 42 cards. Moving forward to the extra deck, we play 3 copies, not 1, not 2, but 3 copies of the new Frightfur Cruel Well. This is easily the best Frightfur monster in the entire deck. It allows you upon its summon to destroy 1 card on your side of the field and then destroy 1 card on your opponent's side of the field when it is fusion summoned. This is huge, mainly because Edge Hit Scythe can protect 1 of your Frightfur monsters, so it's a free destruction. You can also use this effect to destroy cards like Toy Vendor, which is amazing for going second. Not only do you get some word break, you also get some searchability. Next, we play 1 copy of Frightfur Sabretooth. It's a really good card, but you're not gonna summon it as many times as you would hope. And 2 copies of Frightfur Kraken, excellent for spot removal, and I'll explain why we run 2 later in the video. 1 copy of Fluffal Wolf, Frightfur Wolf, and 1 copy of Frightfur Tiger. These cards definitely have their places. The next thing about Cruel Well is that it does send a Frightfur card from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and these 2 can be used for material to be able to summon your Frightfur Tiger? Not Frightfur Tiger, my apologies. Frightfur Sabretooth, almost blanked its name. Also, these cards are amazing in their own right. Tiger allows you to destroy multiple cards, including your Toy Vendor when you need to search, and Frightfur Wolf is that 1 card OTK. For the links, we play 1 copy of Apollosa the Bow Goddess and 1 copy of Cross Thief. If you guys cannot afford Apollosa the Bow Goddess, do not fret. Borlow Dragon, Boral Sword Dragon, any Link 4 will do. You can play any of them in this deck. Apollosa is just free negations for this particular strategy. You can also play some of the other cards that I'm going to suggest at the end of the video. Next, for the Xseed monsters, 1 copy of True King of All Calamities, 1 copy of Bahamut Shark with 5 targets, really easy to summon, 1 copy of Abyss Dweller are totally awesome, and 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. I feel like these were the best Xseed monsters, and with Cruel Well, making True King of All Calamities in this deck is very possible. Now, this is a 14 card extra deck. I'm gonna allow you guys to decide on what you wanna play. Personally, I'm leaning more towards the Hope Harbinger, and the main reason is because, let's say if you're going against a matchup that you know you can put Apollosa for, and it's more than enough disruptions for monster negates, instead of making an Apollosa the Bow Goddess, which would normally be able to protect your True King of All Calamities and True King, you would actually make the Hope Harbinger and the Apollosa the Bow Goddess to have that spell protection, because that's pretty critical right now. This card also eats cards like Triple Tactics Talent, and if your opponent does not send a monster, well, Hope Harbinger can negate Forbidden Droplet. So I'd rather have this card, but some other great choices are Union Carrier if you want to run the Buster Whelp card, or Artifact Dagda if you want to run the Artifact Engine. Now, I don't play the Artifact Engine in this particular deck or the Buster Engine, mainly because there are so many good strategies in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now that don't rely on their extra deck. That, and you have Dogmatica as one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Which doesn't rely on its extra deck. If I were to play it, I would play the Artifact card, the Dagda, and the Scythe in the side deck, because then I know if I'm playing against an extra deck like Salomon Great, I can Scythe this in, know I'm going first, and make the combo. I feel that the Buster combo is pretty cool, but it's gonna lose to stuff like Cosmic Cyclone in the sideboard, or it's just gonna flat out lose to Dogmatica Maximus being able to send Elder Entity Intis. In the long run, it's not great. And then a card that I was playing is the Predaplant Vert Anaconda. If you are playing the Buster Whelp engine, you have to play the Predaplant Vert to be able to fusion summon into your Fright for Sabretooth, and then you make the Union Carrier to equip it with the Buster. So instead of playing the Apollosa, you could play these two cards, or instead of playing the Apollosa, you can play these two cards. You can play any combination of cards you want into your extra deck, and that's the beauty. That's all that we have for the main board in the extra deck. Now I'm going to show you this combo that will blow your mind. Moving on to the combo, this is a 3-card combo that will blow your socks off. It is going to end up with either a totally awesome Apollosa the Bow Goddess and True King of All Calamities, but with just a little bit, just a slight bit of help, you can end up with all 3. That's how amazing this strategy is, and the reason why I think it's so good into this current meta. The card that you are going to need for this combo is Foolish Burial Goods, Fright for Patchwork, and you're going to either need Fluffal Dolphin, Fluffal Dog, or Fluffal Penguin in your hand. Either one of those 3. I'm just going to go ahead and put the Dolphin because Dolphin is too strong. I'm going to start off by activating Foolish Burial Goods to send a Toy Vendor from my deck to my graveyard, triggering the effect of Toy Vendor to add Fluffal Dog. If you already have Fluffal Dog, add Penguin or Dolphin. Normal summon the Fluffal Dog to your side of the field to add, whoa, wrong card. You're going to add a Fluffal Penguin from your deck to your hand, and then you're going to activate the Patchwork to add Edgem Sabers and the Polymerization. Almost got ahead of myself. I'm going to go ahead and use the Polymerization Fusion, the Edgem Chain, and the Fluffal Dog. I'm going to make Fright for Cruel to my side of the field. I don't think it matters what zone you put it in, but I'm going to use the effect of Edgem Chain. I'm going to chain the effect of Fright for Cruel. I'm going to add Fright for Fusion from my deck to my hand and send Fright for Repair from my deck to my graveyard. With the effect of Fright for Repair, I'll banish it to special summon Fluffal Penguin to my side of the field, and now I'll use the effect of Fluffal Penguin to special summon Fluffal Dolphin. Fluffal Dolphin's effect will allow me to set a Toy Vendor to my side of the field, and then I'll be able to send a Fluffal monster from my deck to my graveyard. The monster of choice is going to be Fluffal Wings, and here's where you're going to need that tiny bit of help. I'm going to activate Toy Vendor, and right here is where you can use the effect to pitch any monster from your hand to the graveyard, draw a card, and if you draw a Fluffal monster, you can special summon it. Let's say, for example, you pitch one of the random cards in your hand and you draw a Toy Bear, you special summon Toy Bear to your side of the field, and you continue on with your combo. You literally need just the additional monster to make the Apollosa. But let's say, for example, we didn't hit on our Toy Vendor. There's still another opportunity to have that full combo. We're going to use the effect of Fluffal Wings. We're going to banish Wings, and we're going to banish Fluffal Dog. We're going to draw a card. Then we're going to send the Toy Vendor from our field to the graveyard to draw another card, which that is dope. Triggering the effect of our Toy Vendor, we'll add Fluffal Sheep from our decks to our hand, and then we'll special summon the Fluffal Sheep. From here, we'll use the Fluffal Penguin and Fluffal Dolphin. We'll Exceed summon those into a Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark detaching the Fluffal Penguin to be able to special summon Totally Awesome. So right here is our opponent's dead zone. They cannot Nibiru us anymore. They can't hand trap us anymore because we can always trigger the effect of Totally Awesome. If you guys wanted to go safe, there's also a way to make the Bahamut Shark. You just need either Fluffal Penguin or Fluffal Dolphin in your opening sequence, and you can make Fluffal or Bahamut Shark before you go full combo. You'll just have to finesse your way into the other card sequences. So right here is where I'm going to use my Fluffal Sheep and my Bahamut Shark for a link summon. We're gonna go ahead and make Cross Sheep, so I guess it doesn't matter. Let me move Cross Sheep down so you can see the card just a little bit better. I'm actually going to wrap up this by activating Fright for Fusion. We're gonna banish the Fluffal Sheep and the Edge Imp Chain to be able to special summon the second copy of Fright for Cruel. We'll use Cruel again to be able to send Fright for Repair number 2 from our decks to our graveyard. And now we're going to trigger the effect of Cross Sheep, of course, to be able to special summon a Fluffal monster back to our side of the field. I'll special summon Fluffal Penguin because Penguin's just too strong. So right here is where we have another opportunity. If we just so happen to play another copy of Fluffal Sheep, I shall summon the Fluffal Sheep, and now we can use our penguin, our sheep, and our cross sheep for a link summon into Apollosa the Bow Goddess, and our 2 Fright for Cruel Wells for an Exceed summon into a Fright for Cruel Well. We actually can use that for an Exceed summon into True King of All Calamities. So with full combo, you're gonna make an Apollosa the Bow Goddess with 3 disruptions on your side of the field, as well as a True King of All Calamities, meaning that your opponent can't do anything to that. And you're also going to have a Totally Awesome that can omni-negate and set a card to your side of the field. You're also gonna have at least 1 card additionally in your hand. I'm telling you, Fluffals are too strong. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're gonna have more deck profiles from the Rise of the Duelist set. I just have to get the cards first. I hope you guys stay tuned, and I'll catch you on the next video.